Mark Zuckerberg is gearing up for day 2 in the hot seat after senators pressed him on Facebook's failures to stop hate speech.
You may decide, or Facebook may decide, it needs to police a whole bunch of speech that I think America might be better off not having policed by one company that has a really big and powerful platform. Can you define hate speech?
Senator, I think that this is a really hard question, and I think it's one of the reasons why we struggle with it. There are certain definitions that we have around, calling for violence.
I agree. It's hard. Fox News contributor Tomi Lahren joins us right now live from Los Angeles. Tomi, Facebook CEO who started it in his dorm room years ago. We heard that about 50 times. He admitted they had screwed up. He promised to do better. Will they?
I don't think they're going to change anything unless we pressure them to do so. But I got to say this about Facebook. Many of you know that I made my career on Facebook. If not for Facebook, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you three today. So I owe a lot to the platform. It allowed me to reach millions of people, and in turn, I generated millions of views. And actually, Mark Zuckerberg likes my page on Facebook. So I have a love-hate relationship with the platform. But I will say this. My page is large enough that where if they censor me, I can generate some controversy and I think I can correct the issue. Other conservatives are not so lucky. Conservatives with smaller pages, conservatives that are outside of the media industry, they're censored by Facebook algorithms day in and day out. You just saw it with Diamond and Silk. So it's up to us to put the pressure on this company and hit them in the pocketbook. What if these conservatives that are generating millions of views for you, what if we suddenly just stop? Then what, Mark?
What did you think about the testimony? Because it looked like in the beginning he was probably terrified, and then he realizes, I went to Harvard. I've got this. But it was interesting that he's sitting there talking in front of the Republicans, many of the very ones that he's tried to silence, or at least his company has. What do you think of the overall scene yesterday?
It sounded like he didn't know a whole lot about Facebook, and being that he's a CEO, that's probably a little unsettling. But again, he can't define what hate speech is, and we've seen the left do this time and time again. They consider hate speech to be whatever they don't agree with.
Exactly.
That's what they consider to be hate speech. They throw the labels, they throw the categories at us, and we're silenced. We have to fight back. We have to get vocal, and we're going to do it on platforms like this, and we're going to do it even on his own platform. I know I will.
The way I understand it, I think it's going to get even harder. Number one, it is true. He's right. I don't know how you stop hate speech. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, we get it. The KKK, we understand it. But when you start going into what this site means or what this site means, if you just let it all go, it's the Wild West, which is probably not anyone's advantage. I also think this, when he said I'm turning it over to artificial intelligence in the future to decide, what's going to come forward and what's not. So now it's going to go to an entity that doesn't exist, that we created, that's going to weave and comb out what we're going to be watching. That's a little scary.
Yeah, more algorithms, and that's not good for anyone. And I would also encourage Mark Zuckerberg to hire more conservatives within the company. Outspoken, honest, genuine conservatives. Maybe he get a different perspective. He surrounded himself with people that don't think exactly like he does.
Exactly. Whoever designs the next algorithm is the one who's going to essentially determine what hate speech is. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about this. We've been talking about the midterms. Harvard did a poll, and it looks as if a wave of young Democrats outnumbering young Republicans by 2 to 1 could wind up going to vote, if they do vote, in the next election. What do you make of this? And how do Republicans capitalize on the fact that everybody likes the tax cuts, but at the same time, a lot of the people who are benefiting are Democrats?
Well, two things. Republicans, conservatives, independents, we have to do a better job of reaching out to young people. In the past, we have failed. We don't reach out, we don't go to college campuses, we don't speak to these young people, and we need to do a better job of getting our message across. We tell horrible stories. The left is excellent at messaging, and we're not so great. So that's what I've really dedicated my career to, is reaching the young people. So I think we need to do a better job. But second of all, do not underestimate the whisper voter. The whisper voter exists in young communities as well, who are afraid to say they support this president, who are afraid to say that they're conservative, but they are, and they're probably going to vote conservative as well. So let's wait and see. I didn't trust polls in the 2016 election, and look where we are. Look who's in the White House.
There you go. The polls were wrong, many of them. All right, Tomi, thank you very much. Have a great week.
Great to see you.
All right. Up next on Fox and Friends for this Wednesday, an exclusive look at protecting the border from the water.
Sir, were you trying to cross to America?
Griff Jenkins on the Rio Grande with the Border Patrol. You're going to see that live next.
All right, plus this graduation photo has a lot of people talking. A college senior posing with that gun right there in her waistband and wearing a Woman for Trump t-shirt. She is going to join us live to respond to all the backlash she's getting.
All right. Plus, happy birthday to supermodel Alessandro Ambrosio, who's been on our show multiple times. She was on our show when she was maybe 30. She's 37 today.
Are you glad she was born?
I'm glad she was born.
This is a collaborative, improvisational conversation about politics and life.
Everybody at The Five comes with a background and an expertise.
No one says news has to be boring.
No scripts, nothing.
People love the show because we make them think.
And at 5 o'clock, you get the hard stuff and we dissect it up top. And then at the end of the show, we give you a little dessert.
We're telling you what we think. And we are speaking, it turns out, for a lot of people.
It's your shot of the morning, an incredible moment here. President Trump taking a moment to pray with players from the University of Alabama Crimson Tide football team at the White House.
Yeah, the players and president huddled together and bowing their heads in unity while players placed their hands on the president's shoulder.
That is something. That was shortly after the president congratulated the team on their big national championship win. As you can see, they're on the south lawn of the White House. Roll Tide, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Congratulations to that team.
All right.
Well, there is a 171-mile stretch of the Rio Grande River at the Texas-U.S. border that isn't protected by any sort of a wall.
It is absolutely wide open. And as the National Guard arrives this week to help secure the border, our own Griff Jenkins is getting an exclusive look at the mission on the river.
He joins us right now from the border in Laredo. Hey, Griff.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know, it's shortly after 2:30 this morning. We were reminded of the real danger here. We heard a short gun battle going on. We asked the CBP guys on patrol here, said, how often do you hear that? We hear it about every week, they said, and that's a reminder of what these guardsmen are arriving to. So we hit the water to give you a closer look.
Every single week, we get reports from our partners in the government of Mexico, gun battles, people being killed, down to our to the south of our border, that is at the hands of the cartel, the same cartel that traffics illegal immigrants and narcotics across our borders through this area.
The mission of the boats is to patrol the river, to make sure we have that constant presence.
There's just tons of people. Some are standing on the banks, some wave, some are fishing. How do you know who intends to come across? How do you differentiate?
They might be there scouting, waiting for us to pass along the area, and then that's when they'll make the move as far as crossing either individuals or narcotics across the river.
Sir, were you trying to cross to America? Agent Contreras, we rolled up. What was happening there?
So you had two individuals that were attempting to illegally enter the U.S. by wading across the Rio Grande River. We actually had agents already up there waiting for them, so that's what kind of turned them back.
In your sort of estimation here, is this the boats, the land, and the sky? Is it that what stops people from entering?
Right, so it's a combination, right? You need personnel, you need the technology, and then you need the infrastructure that's going to give us access to the immediate border.
The Border Patrol is a mobile force. It is a 24/7 job keeping those vehicles at a high state of readiness so that our men and women can go out there and do that job. That's one of the elements of support that the National Guard can bring to bear.
Another element the Guardsmen will bring here is horizontal engineering to sort of clear roads, clear brush, and that will let more green shirts, as they're known, Border Patrol, hit this border and try and secure it. They told me of a gun battle that happened in recent weeks with the Mexican Marines less than a mile deep over my shoulder back here. Lasted about 45 minutes going on here. So the threat is very real. That Zeta cartel getting more dangerous and more desperate as the Guardsmen arrive here, guys.
Well, Griff, is there a sense they're undermanned?
Absolutely. You spend any time with the border, whether I was out near San Diego or all the way over here near Laredo, from end to end of this U.S. border, manpower is the common theme. They need more manpower, and they're certainly getting it with the now 1,600 Guardsmen that are being deployed, at least in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. California, I will remind you, has still not yet decided whether they will be part of securing this border.
Well, if they're smart, they would. Griff, thank you very much. Great report
Griff.
from the Rio Grande. All right, as the train comes in. All right, it is 22 minutes before the top of the hour, and right over there, Jillian's got the news.
That's right. Good morning to you guys. Good morning to you at home. Let's get you caught up, starting with this. President Trump signing an executive order pushing to strengthen or add work requirements for welfare. The president ordering a review of the programs, including food stamps, housing, and Medicaid. He's also calling on federal agencies to enforce current work requirements. Trump says the order will restore independence and dignity to millions of Americans. The CDC issuing an urgent warning to doctors across the country about fake pot likely laced with rat poison. So far, 3 people have died. 100 others have been sickened. The deadly outbreak beginning early last month in Illinois and spreading to Indiana, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Maryland. First, it was a bucket of rocks. Now another school district in Pennsylvania is arming their teachers with mini baseball bats. Officials in Mill Creek Township say they want to have a consistent tool for all teachers to fight school shooters.
It's a last resort. It is the last resort, but it is an option. Unfortunately, we're in a day and age where we may need to use them to protect ourselves and our kids.
The bats will be locked up in each classroom. That's a look at your headlines. Send it back to you.
Okay, they're spending $1,800 on them. That's something. Thank you, Jillian.
Thanks, Jillian.
All right, 20 minutes before the top of the hour, turning now to extreme weather. At least 2 twisters touched down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as you can see right there, yesterday.
Yep, but warm weather is finally coming to the East Coast, so we'll move past that.
Really? Janice is tracking it all. Is that true? Is Brian telling the truth?
Brian is telling the truth. The caveat is going to be cold again as we head into Monday. But we'll take what we can get. Look at the temperatures right now in New York City, 38 degrees, 42 in Chicago, 30 in Cincinnati. So still below average, but we're going to put those temperatures up as we go through the rest of the work week. There's the past 24 hours. We do have a little bit of snow across the Great Lakes and a bigger system moving into the Northwest and the Rockies that's going to bring the potential for heavy snow, very heavy rain across the coastal areas, and then that system is going to move eastward, not only bringing the threat for snow, but severe storms, large hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes for Friday, the threat across the central U.S., and then the fire danger is also high as we go through the next couple of days, so wildfire danger. And there's Brian speaking the truth on Friday and Saturday with temperatures in the 70s. Good job, Brian.
Finally.
77 on Sunday.
Woohoo!
All right, Janie,
we need to celebrate.
No kidding. All right, meanwhile, take a look at this. This graduation photo has a lot of people talking. A college senior posing with a gun in her waistband and wearing a Women for Trump t-shirt. There has been a lot of backlash online. She will respond to that in about 5 minutes.
Plus, did you know your taxpayer dollars are actually funding sanctuary cities? One congressman is trying to change that. He's next.
For the House Republican Policy Committee, Indiana Congressman Luke Messer, who is running for Senate out there in the Hoosier State. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Hey, Steve, great to be on.
You say no locality should get an illegal immigrant bonus. What do you mean by that?
Well, listen, our bill is designed to stop the illegal immigrant bonus that sanctuary cities and towns get under current law. Here's why they get a bonus. Federal programs that are based on calculations of population look at total population, which under the census includes illegal immigrants. I applaud the president's leadership. The president has said we're going to have a citizenship question on our census. That is great progress. But now we need to give that some teeth. And that's what my bill does. It would require that any population calculations used for allocation of federal dollars not include illegal immigrants. It should just be taxpayers. It's crazy that these communities literally get a financial bonus for having illegal immigrants, and we need to stop it.
Congressman, I understand that this particular bill of yours, called Funding Americans First Act, was inspired by the president and his suggestion that there should be a question on the census that comes up in 2020. Are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Well, absolutely. And listen, it's remarkable that the president's leadership has caused any kind of outrage. But here's why, right? The Democratic Party is becoming the party of illegal immigration in this country. They get more funding in these communities when they have illegal immigrants. They also get more members of Congress, too. Remember that the calculation of members of Congress is based on the same funding. I'll give you an example. The city of San Jose, California, has almost twice as many illegal immigrants as my home state, the state of Indiana. As a result, they get additional federal funding. It's crazy. We need to stop it. And frankly, I think as the American people learn about this, it's going to gain momentum quickly, and we'll get this change done.
Well, Congressman, when you look at what is happening in, for instance, Orange County in California, I mean, SB, Senate Bill 54 that went into effect January 1st out in California made the entire state a sanctuary. But the people in Southern California, largely under Republican rule, they're going, you know what, we don't want that, and we want to be part of the Department of Justice lawsuit against the state of California because this is unconstitutional.
Well, absolutely. Look, if securing the border and stopping illegal immigration was unpopular, then Hillary Clinton would have won the last presidential election. President Trump won on a platform of building a wall, securing our border, getting tough on illegal immigration. This census question is one example. I applaud the president's efforts to get troops on the border and secure our border, too. This is going to be a big part of the debate. You mentioned I'm running for the U.S. Senate, Steve. Right. Listen, the Democratic Party's become the party of legal immigration. Joe Donnelly is part of that problem. We're working to stop it.
All right. Congressman Luke Messer from Indiana. Sir, thank you very much for joining us live today.
Thanks.
All right. What do you think about that? Email us, friends@foxnews.com. Meanwhile, we've been telling you about Diamond and Silk and their battle with Facebook. They said that Facebook said that they were unsafe. Well, that controversy made it all the way to Capitol Hill yesterday.
Most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community.
Well, Diamond and Silk are going to join us live in about a half an hour to respond. And this graduation photo has a lot of people talking. A college senior posing with a gun in her waistband and wearing a Women for Trump t-shirt. A lot of backlash online. She's going to talk to Ainsley. Coming up next.
Blue King baby, born in the USA. Trailer park truck stop fading in a mountain tops, New York to LA.
A student at the University of Tennessee, she's right there, defending her graduation picture after posing with a gun in her waistband while lifting her Women for Trump t-shirt. The viral photo comes at a time where both the Second Amendment and conservatives are under attack on college campuses. Joining us now is that student, Brenna Spencer. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we saw the picture. I know that you've gotten a lot of backlash, and we'll talk about that. But why did you want to wear that T-shirt and then show the gun?
Yeah, so taking my graduation photos, I figured that I wanted them to be personal and show who I am and represent the person that I am. So obviously being very passionate about conservative politics and the Second Amendment, I decided that that was what I wanted to do.
How did you get to this point in your life? Tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, what your major is, and why you're so pro-gun and why you support the president.
Yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati, actually, and my family moved to Nashville when I was around 10 years old. My parents have been very active in politics, so I kind of got my passion from them and hearing about what, you know, they have to tell me, so.
I want to read some of the tweets that we pulled from Twitter. This girl, Lisa, says, you realize employers will see this, right? Hope you enjoy living with mom and dad. Lily says, I support the second, but don't get why anyone wants photos taken with their gun that anyone can get. Attention seeker, #issues. What's your response?
Right. Sexual assault has grabbed a lot of attention these past few years, especially on college campuses. So I think it's important for women to be able to know that they are their first line of defense. So, you know, as the campus leadership campus reform, as the campus reform has been reporting, the Second Amendment has been under attack, especially on college campuses. So not only do they try to restrict our right to carry on campus, but they also are trying to up the age to 21 to buy a gun. So I think it's really important to empower people to show that you should be allowed to protect yourself. Your rights don't stop at a college campus.
Do you regret doing this? Because it's not fun, especially at your age, you're 22 years old, to get these attacks from people. And I mean, you have every right to do this, but would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. I would do it. It's really, really important to empower the tens of millions of women, gun-owning women, and let them know that they have a voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people, I mean, think about this election. A lot of people didn't want to admit that they were voting for Donald Trump. The left did not think he was going to win. Many Republicans didn't think he was going to win, and he did. Many people were scared to vocalize why they liked him or that they were voting for him. So what do you say to people who have strong opinions but are too afraid to do them? I mean, you obviously are bold and courageous and don't care about the backlash, but what's your advice to people who do care about it?
You have a voice. You know, the backlash is there and you're going to get hate, but it's really, really important to stand up for what you believe in. It's important to voice your opinions and continue to do it.
What did your parents think about this?
My parents love it. My parents are actually with me right now.
Oh, really? What about your friends?
I have a lot of conservative friends, and I actually have a lot of more left-leaning friends too, and both of them are really, really supportive.
Okay, and what do you want to do with your future?
I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll see. This has opened a lot of doors for me, so I'm gonna kind of roll with it.
You know, I've found that to be true. When you find your voice and you don't care what anyone else thinks anymore, doors just open for you. So we wish you all the best. God bless you. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Many lawmakers are furious with the DOJ for not releasing thousands of documents on several probes fast enough. Well, John Losh is the new attorney that was brought in to speed up the release of all these documents, and he's going to join us live in the next hour. And pull up a chair because James Comey is ready for his close-up. Look at that.